Hey, it's Amy Scott Grant. They call me the spiritual ass kicker. Welcome back, yo. It's nice to see you back here. And I'm talking today about a very simple yet profound concept. Okay, this is a basic law of attraction concept called whatever you resist persists. And the reason I'm talking about this today is because it's part of a bigger issue called acceptance. Like a lot of times people ask me stuff like, well, how do you just let go? And I say, well, you work with me and we do clearing work. But I realize, I'm like $1,000 an hour. Not everybody can afford to work with me on a one-on-one type of scenario. Why do you think I put out so many of these YouTube videos? So that I can help you at least make some progress on your own, right? Whether or not you choose to work with me directly. But this concept of acceptance, oh my God, it's so up right now, right? It's just coming up constantly. Acceptance is so big. So if you have wondered, how do you just let go? How do you forgive? How do you accept yourself? How do you love yourself? How does any of that happen? Then this series that you're watching right now is exactly for you, because that's where I'm going to answer these questions. So let's circle back to this concept of whatever you resist persists. Okay, and the reason that happens, like I said, basic law of attraction, whatever you give energy to will grow and grow and grow, right? Whatever you put your attention and energy and focus and concentration onto. So when you resist something, or when you hate something, or when you want something to just go away, you're putting a tremendous amount of energy in that direction. If you've ever read the book Illusions by Richard Bach, one of my all-time favorites. I reread it like every 5 or 10 years and I feel like my mind is blown all over again. Same guy that wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, by the way, but which I know millennials are like, who's that? Read him, look it up, Google it. He's fantastic. Anyway, in Illusions, there's this part where Don and Richard are dissolving clouds, right? They're using their mind to make clouds disappear, which, by the way, turns out totally real thing. I've done it. I've met other people that have done it. Pretty cool. And anyway, so Don is doing them like with ease and grace, right? Because he's the reluctant messiah. And Richard is like, throwing rockets and bombs and like just doing whatever he can to try and get rid of this cloud. And after what seems like forever, a cloud, he finally is able to shrink a cloud down really small until it goes away. And Richard says, it's one of the best lines in the book, really. He's like, it's amazing given that you were so attached to it. And Richard's like, what do you mean attached? I'm paraphrasing, of course. My apologies, Mr. Bach. But he's like, what do you mean attached? Like, I was like throwing everything I had at that. And Don doesn't really explain, but that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, when you're like, go away, hate you, have to stop this, can't have it, failure's not an option. All of this stuff is putting negative energy, but it's still putting energy toward something. Therefore, it's going to be damn near impossible for you to get rid of it because you're so attached to it with all of this energy. Here's another simple and slightly gross example. Think about if you've ever cut your skin. Hopefully not on purpose. That's probably a topic for a different video. But have you ever had a cut, like a paper cut or any kind of cut on your finger, your arm, your leg, whatever? What happens if you just totally leave that cut alone? Like preferably you wash it, maybe put a little antibiotic on it, maybe a Band-Aid, maybe not. But if you just leave it alone, doesn't it heal beautifully? And maybe you do, maybe you don't have a scar, but really, like the less thought you give to it, next thing you know, you're like, oh yeah, well, where was that cut? I can't even find it anymore. It's like totally gone. On the other hand, what happens if you like pick at it? If you're like staring at it, scratching at the edges, you know who you are. You're like chewing on it a little, maybe. Some of us do that. If you won't leave it alone, it ultimately gets infected, right? And then it gets nasty and even more painful and may even require a trip to the doctor for something as simple as a little hangnail or a paper cut. So it's the same kind of concept, okay? If you resist something, it grows. It may not grow, I'm sorry. It may not grow, but if you resist something, it persists, right? Like it won't go away. So no matter how hard you try and push something away, it doesn't really go away. And that's what this conversation is about, acceptance and intention. I want to tell you one more thing, because acceptance is the first step in letting go. And we'll have more about that in the next video. Do you know about the reticular activating system? It's this part in your brain that recognizes it. Basically, it's the go find more. That's what I call it. It's the go find more part of your brain. So whatever you focus on, your reticular activating system sort of perks up like a dog that's just heard a high-pitched sound and goes out and fetches more of that thing. So if something negative happened to you and you're focused on how unfair that is, then you start to notice when other people are telling their similar unfair stories. Or if you've lost something, maybe you've lost a loved one or a cherished item or an opportunity, you start focusing on loss, you start finding more examples of loss. That's the reticular activating system in your brain doing its job. It's fetching for you. Oh, this is important. Let me go find more. Your best friend buys a red BMW. Do they even make red BMWs? I don't know. But your best friend buys like a red, pick your favorite make of car. All of a sudden, you see those everywhere. Now, they didn't just show up. No, it's like that part of your brain said, oh, this is important. We're hearing about this a lot. We're seeing this a lot. So let's go find more of it. Fetch, 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 fetch. Okay? That's why it's so important to monitor what it is that you're thinking about and to be consciously aware. It's important to think about what you think about. So this concept of whatever you resist persists, that's the first thing you need to know about acceptance and letting go. And I will see you back in the next video where we'll continue this conversation.